Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine studio, getting ready to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show as we do some last minute show prep. I thought I was ready to rock, but it turns out we got a couple of last minute tweaks here before we hit the air, or actually, before I say before we hit the air, but we record the show as if it's live. So I think of it as hitting the air. Cliff, good morning. How are you? Joel, always a pleasure. Cap, right back at you. Tommy, good morning. Nick, nice to have you along with us. My good buddy, Craig Plowman. How's it going, Craig? David, good morning. Bruce, good morning. Nice to have you along with us on our midweek live stream here from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. I will tell you who's coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show as we get a little bit closer. First, some things to talk about the weather. Man, it's been nice, hasn't it? I mean, nice for golf, maybe not so much for hunting. Eric says, look into the long range forecast. He says snow on Halloween per usual. I haven't seen that yet, but it would be nice to have it cool down just a little bit. Although I was on the golf course yesterday afternoon and it was beautiful. If you could find a ball. I mean, so many leaves were down that it's really hard to find a ball out there right now. Uncle Johnny, good luck on Friday. Been thinking about you. Johnny played golf yesterday with James after we pulled the Angler Quest. Went to Maple Leaf. And Johnny, there was a guy out there who I thought was genius. He had a portable leaf blower with him. Next time I go out, if I make it out again before the end of the season, I'm taking my leaf blower. He used it to find balls in the fairway and to blow the leaves off the green. What a great idea. I wanted to rent his, but he wouldn't let it go. Rick, good morning. Appreciate you joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic here from the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Even with the warmer weather, now it has slowed down a little bit now that it's gotten real warm, but we're seeing a lot of deer activity. Now, buck activity on our trail cameras. It is amazing to me how valuable these cellular trail cameras are. On our lease property, we have them put up all over the place, and you can really keep an eye on the deer movement, what deer are out there. Now that I have a doe down, I'm buck hunting and turkey hunting. I have a fall turkey tag. By the way, you can still buy a fall turkey tag. The season's good until November 14th. When the firearm season starts, the fall turkey season ends. But you may have been out there now deer hunting and had a flock of birds walk by. Didn't you wish there was a turkey tag in your pocket? I have a turkey tag in my pocket. And the last time I was out, because I'm not doe hunting him anymore, and I didn't expect to see a buck on that food plot, I thought, if that flock of turkeys walks by and I see a longbeard in there, I'm going to shoot him. Didn't get the chance, but it was nice to have that tag in my pocket. George, good morning. How are things over at Savage Dog Outdoors? Dave, always a pleasure. I'm going to need a bigger golf bag for that leaf blower. We've been cheating. Been riding in a cart. I still got my 10,000 steps in, even yesterday, even while using a cart to golf. But yeah, I would need a bigger golf bag. Oh, speaking of golf, the date has been set for next year's second annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing to benefit MUCC's camp, youth camp. Friday, July 25th. I like moving it to a Friday instead of a Monday because then maybe you can turn it into a weekend getaway. And from now on, we can say, mark your calendars for the last Friday in July, and that will be the Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing this year, July 25th. Mike, good morning. Emma, how are you? Steve, how are things? Steve, I was at the marina yesterday, finally pulled the Angler Quest. There weren't many boats left out there. They had turned the power off. They had turned the water off. I'm hanging on to my key because I got to be honest with you, Steve, if I can get in there, I plan on doing a little after dark casting off the docks for walleye. The surface temp in there yesterday was 57 degrees and there were shad busting up in the marina. It's got to be walleye in there, right? So I'm going to go in there at night and not this week, not next week, but sometime this fall, I'm going to give it a try. But it feels good to get the Angler Quest out of the water. My son James came over and helped me. We pulled her out. We took it up to Linwood Beach, left it there. And I'm anxiously awaiting for next year already. I will be running one of the new Angler Quest boats, QUEST. More on that new lineup as this morning goes along. Tom, good morning. How are things in the thumb? Jerry, always a pleasure. Hey, Michelle. Keep an eye on that husband of yours. You know he needs a lot of direction, right? Jim, good morning. How are you? Hey, Craig, is your boat out of the water or are you still fishing? Hey, Randy. I pulled the boat. But you know that. I appreciate that. Steve, usually what I do is I just run the boat up to Linwood Beach. This year, it was just easier to pull it and trailer it up to Linwood Beach. I did find out something interesting. If you leave your trailer out in the elements for 3 years and you don't check your winch strap, that winch strap might break while you are pulling a 28-foot Angler Quest up out of the water. So it was pretty rotten. We didn't catch it till, fortunately, the boat was on the trailer. We were pulling it out of the slip, and that pressure broke the strap. We were able to put an overhand knot in there and tighten it back down. Ross, how have you been, buddy? How's your journey going? Always a pleasure. I miss seeing you. Brian, good morning. How are you? Barb, good morning. Come on in, Art. Scott Handy filmed on one of the new Panfish Angler Quest yesterday with Blake. What a great boat for fishing inland. You know this guy right here. What's your name again?
McGillicuddy.
McGillicuddy. I know you as Art Lewis, I think.
Oh, well, that might be my other name.
Hey,
yeah.
We set a date for the golf outing next year.
Already?
We're going to hit the last Friday in July every year from now on.
All right.
So it's easy to remember.
Fantastic. I won't plan any vacations.
Thank you. We want to have you there. Art Lewis, WSGW AM and FM. He is a broadcasting icon.
And when is the
Trinity dinner?
Trinity dinner.
Saturday, March 1st, I believe.
I think so, because I'm actually planning
October,
a vacation around it. So
wow.
I'm here.
Saturday, March 1st is the Trinity dinner, and we will look forward to seeing you there, Art. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
That's all right. Yes, indeed.
All righty.
Have a good show.
You can listen to Art on WSGW AM and FM. Look at us. We're like twins.
We're
like twins. We're like,
we're absolutely.
Right. Thanks, Art.
Except I can't grow a beard.
I can't grow hair, so we're even. Scott filmed on one of the new Panfish Angler Quest yesterday, QUEST, a great boat for fishing inland lakes. I am real excited for Brad. He's keeping the big boats. He's keeping the big Pro Troll, and he's keeping the big family fish. But he's added 3 new small boats, 14 feet, 16 feet, and 18 feet, smaller boats for inland lakes. And the reason being is, hey, the economy's not great. I don't give a damn what Harris says. The economy is not great, and there's not a lot of money floating around there for most families. So Brad said he's going to capitalize on that. And he is going to make these smaller boats that are more in the budget of many families. He's keeping the 2 big boats, though. Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. How are you, buddy? Thank you again, Johnny, for getting me my first Michigan bear. You had pressure on you. We had a 1-day hunt, and you got it done. Thank you, Johnny Bowler. Hey, Deb, how you doing, buddy? I look a little red. I was out in the sun all day yesterday pulling the boat and playing golf. Probably a little sun. I haven't, I was going to say I haven't seen much sun lately, but I have. I've been out there. Hey, John, good morning. How are you? Where'd you go, John? I will have a wonderful day if you do, John. Tim Benz can't comment on Facebook. So good morning from YouTube. I wonder why that is, Tim. I have heard that from other people too, that occasionally they'll log into Facebook and they can't comment. I don't know why. I don't think I've done anything on my end, but I appreciate you jumping over to YouTube to check us out. Ross, back surgery November 5th, getting 3 new vertebrae, lower back fused, and a bunch of other stuff fixed. Are you dreading it, Ross, or are you looking forward to it? I know since your last surgery, and I know what it's like to lose a bunch of weight and how your body changes, and it hurts your back, and you had back problems going in. So my hopes and prayers are for a successful surgery for you, my good friend, Ross Elliott. Rick, still rehabbing my knee and another surgery today. Rick, You're going to be like me. You're going to be bionic. You're going to be like the $6 million man. Randy, you're going to try casting at your dock. I'm thinking I will try at Bay Harbor at my slip for night. Same thing, Randy. Same thing. And actually, I was looking at that. If I go out to the point, where the cut comes into my marina, not mine, I don't own it, but Sunset, there's a big light right there. Well, that light is going to attract shad, which is going to attract walleye. So I think I can cast from there as well. Another side point with the low water levels and the southwest wind, Steve Rivet, when I went out of the marina yesterday, there was 2.5 feet of water in the channel. When I pulled up to the DNR launch, there was 1.9 feet of water under my transducer as we pulled the Angler Quest. And it did make me a bit nervous. Happy Wednesday to you, Captain Doug Ward. Hope you have a great day. You're a great guy. Danny, congrats on that Newfoundland moose. Very cool. Matt Schock, how goes the coyote hunting? Jason Graham of Linwood Beach Marina. Jason, are you still down at the Ranger meetings? How did those go? Are you back home now? I talked to Scott yesterday. My boat, I say my Angler Quest, is on a trailer there. Ready for you guys to do your magic. I talked to Scott about it, and I'm sure we will talk more. Jason Graham of Send It Charters. Jason is fishing all fall on Saginaw Bay for big fall walleye. I said, Jason, I've never caught a double-digit fish. And he said, Mike, come out with me in the fall. Your odds are the best of the year. Johnny, fires all over up here. A little rain last night, this morning, but the wind's picking up. Hopefully give the guys a rest. It is dry still, isn't it? We got a little bit of rain yesterday, but man, it's dry. Man, we need rain. My dad always said that the ponds, that it won't freeze over until the ponds are full. And usually that's true. I wonder if that will be the case this year. John, good morning. You are excited, Ross. Good for you. Good morning, Lee. How are you? Brian, anyone still finding deadheads from EHD? EHD in the southern part of Michigan, the state, not like the Ohio State, the University of Michigan. And how it, I'm not even going to go down that road. I'm not going to talk that. Kevin, good morning. Congrats on your buck. Very nice. And we'll look forward to seeing you, Kevin. I'm looking down the road here, Friday, July 25th for the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors Charity Golf Outing. Coyote hunting is really starting to pick up with the colder temps at night. Fur is starting to look really good as well. Excellent. Jason is still in Arkansas at the Ranger Boat Dealers meeting, heading home later this afternoon. Have a safe trip home, Jason. I'll look forward to seeing you when you get back up here. Johnny, forest fires in October, hardly ever heard of up here. Scott's is the same thing up at Linwood Beach. Minnows in the marina at Linwood Beach are everywhere. Walleye have all they can eat. Yeah. Who did I see? Who did I talk to? Oh, did you see the picture I posted yesterday? The guys were perch fishing on Saginaw Bay and caught a sturgeon. How cool is that? Scott, I cannot believe you even asked this question. Who is on the show today? Any interesting topics? Scott Hand, you should know by now that every show is filled with interesting topics. My first guest this week, Matt Poet of Jay Sporting Goods, getting us ready for the firearm deer season. Then Brent Pike from the Michigan Wildlife Council. That group is committed to protecting hunting and fishing here in the great state of Michigan. Then Rich Krazan of Killer Food Plots, talking about the line of scents and attractants that they have. Also, and it's a little bit late for this year, but Killer Food Plots has a product to address this whole EHD situation now. We've got the worst outbreak since 2012. It's caused by little midges, little flies that live in the mud around the ponds. And Killer Food Plots has a product where you can treat your ponds. It doesn't hurt anything else, but it treats the ponds and it'll prevent those little midgets, the midgets causing us problems, those little midge flies from causing problems with EHD. If we could, and we'll talk more about this, but if more people knew about this product and would treat their ponds, we could significantly knock down this EHD problem. So it's a big deal. Then Russ Clark, Charlie, I got that spot for you. It's one that we've already aired, and here it is. I'm going to play it for you. Okay, Charlie? It is the Ruger spot, but it starts out with the election. Hold on. Here it is.
By now, you've had your fill of political ads. James Porteous thinks it's
So it is. That's the way it starts. So that's what had me confused. Speaking of confused, Charlie, I only printed out one copy of who's on the show this week, so I might have to. We'll either share or I will email you that copy when I get a minute. It's been one of those days, Charlie.
And to further confusion, an email to Jonathan's email.
The rundown?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, my friends, hold tight. Yes, Charlie, but we can get through the first segment without it, correct? Correct. Without the rundown.
Yes.
Okay.
You're okay.
Jim, the lake I live on is 3 feet low. Had a hard time getting your pontoon out. We didn't have a hard time, but it did make me nervous. Other than the broken strap on the winch, but that was not a big deal. Mickey, good morning. Mitchell, Vaughn, how are you? All right, Johnny, be safe. I'll talk to you tonight. Bill, good morning. Hello, Jim. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Jim, good morning. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. I'm here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio to record this week's show. I did not tell you, Russ Clark, then this week's Ask Avery segment, talking about the changes in the mentored hunting license, and they are positive in my opinion. Then we're finally going to get the question answered about carrying a gun on an e-bike. This is a question I posed for the last 3 weeks and had a heck of a time getting an answer. Sergeant Mike, what's Mike's last? Mashal? I don't want to say it wrong. It is Mashar. Captain Mike Mashar will join us to answer the question. And then in the third hour, one of the best extreme long-range shooters in the world, and this is no joke and it's not an exaggeration, Paul Phillips will join us. And then Wild Game Chef Extraordinary Dixie Dave Miner. While I think about it, I was trying to get this guy on the show, but I couldn't. He was tied up. Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley, you know, Truck Trolley, that slide out removable bed of your truck that lets you easily access everything in your truck. He said, Mike, I heard your interview 2 weeks ago with Jerry Widener of the Hunter Safety System. He said, because of that, I bought a Hunter Safety System vest. In fact, I'm going to read you the text from Andy. He says, hey, just had to let you know that because of your HSS Hunter Safety System segment the other week, their gear saved me this weekend. The bottom of my climber gave away as I was climbing up, and the HHA system vest kept me in the tree. Some bruises, a bloody nose, and scuff marks, but safe to hunt another day. Lee says, you inspired me with your 350, so I had to build me a 450 Bushmaster. You're going to love it. I'm looking forward to using my 350 Legend on deer. After I saw what it did on that bear, I'm real curious and excited to use it for deer. Robert, good morning. Jack, sent you a decent 8 I shot last night, grunting and following does. It's getting to be that time of year. I was saying a few minutes ago, we're really getting more activity of bucks on our trail cameras, a couple of daytime walkers, but nothing significant yet, but it's coming. Congrats, Jack. I will share your picture. Emil Rousseau of the Lumberjack. Paul Phillips is the man. Love listening to him. Emil, if you're just joining us, we set the date for next year's second annual Mike Avery Outdoors Charity Golf Outing in West Branch with our home base of being the Lumberjack. It is Friday, July 25th. From now on, we will set the date as the last Friday in July. Good morning, Ed. How are things in Ohio? Who's down there, Ed? How many guys are down there? Have you hunted yet? Or are you just going out? Are you in a tree right now? And how is the activity? Scott, what a blessing on the mentored hunting program they've passed. Yes, we're going to talk more about that. Should give out a shout out to hunters at Bill Piles, Ohio Wolf Hunting Outfitters. I just did. Ed Bolanowski is down there right now. How is the hunting? Are you seeing deer movement? Say hi to Bill Piles for me, if you would, please. Mark, good morning. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. You know that by now. In just a minute here, I'm going to have to change focus. And I like Fridays rather than Mondays, too. Monday was the only day we could get last year. I like Friday because you can make it a long weekend, right? Jerry says, good morning from Algonac. I stopped cleaning fish to watch the show. Well, thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Walleye? Are we talking walleye? Craig, look what I'm drinking out of. I don't like Yeti, but I like this mug because Craig Plowman gave it to me. He did. Say hi to everybody on there for me. Dave, good morning. Jerry, yes. Walleye. Excellent. What else? Oh, we're doing a Wednesday night live at Jay's Sporting Goods a week from tonight. We're going to be live at the store with their deer camp kickoff to help us get ready for the firearm gun season. That'll be at Jay's Sporting Goods. I don't know if that is open to the public or not. I will find out as I interview Jeff Poet from Jay's Sporting Goods on the show today. Doug Ward, woohoo, just put the golf outing on the book to save the date. Excellent. The Claire store. Thank you, Amel. Yes, the Claire store. I appreciate that clarification. Jay's Sporting Goods, the Claire store, the original outdoor superstore, family owned in Michigan. Trevor,
1 minute.
excellent bluegill fishing right now in Lake St. Clair in the cuts. Oh, Trevor, that sounds great. Have fun. Send me pictures, Trevor. I'll post them. Send them to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and I will post them. Okay. Remember who used to do that? Or something like that? The man himself, Rush Limbaugh. All right, so as I start the radio show, I will talk about many of the same topics you and I have already discussed. I will not be able to directly answer your questions that you post here. So if you post something and I don't answer, it's not because I'm being rude, although I am accused quite often of being rude, and I accept that. In this particular case, I'm not being rude. I just have to do a radio show, which is kind of how I make my money. These live streams are fun, but they're just part of the whole deal, right? 10 seconds. Charlie Rudy. If you worked with Charlie, you'd love the guy, but he is a slave driver. I'm telling you what. He is demanding as can be. Oh, you weren't kidding. Blast off. Well, he's like me. So he's good, but sometimes he's forgetful. And believe me, this week I forgot a lot of stuff.
And sometimes I suck.
He says, and sometimes he sucks, just like me.
You gotta do round 2.
Got to do round 2?
Well, because I was doing something with a commercial. I didn't fire properly.
Well, and that's my fault.
No, that's not your
That
fault.
is my fault.
That's not your fault. It's mine for not.
Okay, so
All right, so we're coming up in 30 seconds now.
Rush Limbaugh, I thought that was a Lone Ranger. No, Rush used to do something like that. I didn't. Yeah, that sounds like the Lone Ranger. You're right, it does. Rush used to do something similar to that I can't do because Rush was the man. Next to, there's like in the radio hierarchy, there's Rush Limbaugh, there's Art Lewis, there's Charlie Rood, and then you go down the whole thing and you get down to the very bottom and there's Avery. Blast off. Okay. So I'll give myself about 16 seconds here and then I will start my clock. I probably should turn that tone off too. Okay, boom. I started my clock. All right, my friends. Hey, Doug, are you still fishing too? Are you going to fish this fall? And how's the new boat? Beautiful. The new lineup of Angler Quests are pretty cool too. I had a chance to see them and they're pretty sweet. Angler Quest pontoons right there. All right, my friends, I got to go to work. If you can call it that, have a good day. I will see you tonight, 7:00 for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. And I will be back next Wednesday night at 7:00 for a Wednesday Night Live at Jay's in Clare. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. Yeah, this is a radio show, right? It's not a podcast. It's available as a podcast, and you can hear it as a podcast, but it's not a podcast. It doesn't originate as a podcast. It originates, it is produced, it is recorded, it is syndicated, and it is distributed, and it's sold as a radio show. And if you can, I think the best way to listen to the show, if you can, is on your local radio station, your local AM or FM station. But yes, indeed, there is a podcast version available. So what is going on since we've last talked? Weather, right? I mean, we can always, hey, listen, we love the outdoors. Everything we do depends on the weather. Most things depend on the weather. And it's always a topic of discussion. Last time we were here, I was talking about, how nice it was to be cold and chilly. Well, this last week, it was warm and beautiful, maybe too warm, maybe too beautiful. I think I hunted one day this week, but I also played golf. And I think I enjoyed the golf more than I enjoyed the hunting, because it's hard to get excited about hunting when it's 84 degrees, 82 degrees out. But I take advantage of the situations that are out there, right? Deer activity is indeed picking up as we get closer to Halloween and the magical whitetail rut. If you don't know what the whitetail rut is, it is the breeding season in the whitetail world. It's a time when the testosterone level in the bucks goes up, their wariness goes down. They are more likely to be seen in the daylight hours as opposed to just at night. On our trail cameras right now, we're seeing a lot of buck activity. We're seeing bucks hit licking branches and scrapes. They're starting to pay a little more attention to the does. So far, most of that activity is still at night, although we're seeing a couple of day walkers. That is going to increase and improve and change here over the next several days. Aren't trail cameras an interesting tool we have to use? I mean, on our lease property, we've got it set up everywhere. And I feel like we can monitor all corners of that property without being out there. Is it an unfair advantage? I don't think so, because deer are still going to do what they're going to do. And, you have an idea of what's out there and where they are when, but that's no guarantee they're going to show up in front of you while you're out there hunting. But they are a very valuable tool. I never would have dreamed when I was a kid that we would have had something that you could keep an eye on the deer movement. When I was a younger hunter, if you didn't see a deer or a rub or a scrape, you didn't know. And when I was a kid, I was so stupid. I didn't know what a rub or a scrape was. I'd see those things out there and like, okay, I wonder what made that. And just to be clear, people confuse these a lot. A rub is on a tree. A scrape is on the ground. You will often see them together near each other, but they're not the same thing. A rub is on the tree, a scrape is on the ground. If they're along that line, if for the most part, if something is if a spot you're going to hunt from is up in a tree, it's a stand, and a blind is on the ground. Now, I have seen some tree stands that looked like they could have been blinds because they were, pretty enclosed and pretty comfortable, but just a little deer hunting vernacular here. But it's going to get better, and I'm excited because I can feel it's not passion yet, but I can feel my interest coming back in deer hunting. And I'm really quite surprised this year that I'm really looking forward to the gun season because I want to put that Michigan-made Brenton 350 Legend to use in the whitetail woods. After I saw what it did for my Michigan black bear, I said, man, that's a very, very effective tool, and I'm going to use it for deer hunting, and I'm pretty excited about it. What else is going on? Hey, while you're in the deer woods, have you seen a flock of turkeys walk by? Probably. Do you have a fall turkey tag in your pocket? I don't know. I have one in mine. The last time I went out, in fact, I went out hunting with my granddaughter, Addison. I wasn't going to hunt, but she said she was going to hunt. I said, listen, if I have a chance to go hunt with my granddaughter, I don't care what the weather is. I don't care what my schedule is. I'm going. But knowing that the food plot that I was going to sit over, I've already killed a doe. Now I'm buck hunting. I'm not trophy hunting, but I am buck hunting. And I did not expect to see a buck of any size wander through that food plot, but there had been turkeys wandering through there. So I'll be honest with you, that night sitting in the blind, I was as much turkey hunting as anything. It was a passive style of turkey hunting. I didn't have decoys in front of me and I wasn't calling, but I was kind of waiting for a flock of birds to walk by. And if I saw a longbeard and come in front of me, I was going to shoot it. The Angler Quest is now out of the water. My son James came over. He helped me pull it out of the water. Here's a little note. It didn't cause any problems, but something to be aware of. If you keep your trailer out in the elements and you've had it out there for a few years, check your winch strap. Those things do deteriorate. We loaded up the Angler Quest. We had it winched up to the front of the trailer, and as we were pulling it out of the slip, the winch strap broke. It was basically rotted. No, it was fine. The boat was already on the trailer, didn't cause any problems. We just tied an overhand knot in the strap and we were able to tighten it down. But just something to be aware of. Those boat winch straps do certainly rot. Be aware of that. Also, where I was on Saginaw Bay, the water levels were crazy down. It had been a southwest wind. The channel where I come out was usually 5 feet of water. There was 2.5. When I got up to the boat launch to pull the boat, there was 1.9 feet of water underneath my transducer. And that was enough to make me a little bit nervous. Next, a couple things coming up. Next Wednesday night, we will do a Wednesday night live at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare to help kick off deer camp. It's to help us get ready for the firearm deer season. Matt Poet will be joining me here after the break to talk more about that. So we'll have some details. But keep an eye out for that Wednesday night at 7:00, Wednesday night live at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare. Speaking of dates, and this one's down the road, but we just set the date, so I thought I'd let you know. Remember what a big deal I made about the first annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing last summer to benefit MUCC's youth camp? It was a huge success, and we vowed at the time to do another one. It's going to be an annual event. Last year's event was on a Monday at the West Branch Country Club. It was Monday because that's the only day we could get the course. I would prefer to do it on a Friday so you could make a long weekend out of it. And that's what we have this year. So Friday, July 25th, mark your calendar. Friday, July 25th is the second annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing at the West Branch Country Club. What we're going to do from now on is make it the last Friday in July. So when you get your new calendar, mark the last Friday in July and you'll know when to join us. A couple of interesting comments from listeners this week. David Stacy sent me an email. He said, Mike, I was listening to you guys talk about the Sportsmen Against Hunger program. He said, I'm not a hunter, but I want to help out. How can I do that? He said, never mind. I already did some research. He said, if you go to the website, sportsmenagainsthunger.org, you can make a donation, whether you're a hunter or not. Also, Cameron Jones wants me to point out, he says, Mike, you talk about that we as hunters these days have to portray ourselves in a positive manner. He was sitting at on the bank of the Asaba River, and he saw a complete deer hide come floating by. And he said, a lot of people saw that. And he said, that makes us look like litterers and beyond. You cannot legally in Michigan dispose of any part of an animal in the water. Like in Alaska, you can. I think in Florida, you can. You can't do that here in Michigan. So this deer hide comes floating down the river. He said, please remind people that folks are looking at us. And I agree. Folks are looking at us as hunters and anglers and shooters and trappers. They want to see what we're doing because they want to find a chink in the armor. Don't give them that chink. Don't do something stupid like that. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show, Matt Poet of Jay's Sporting Goods will join me. Now, it was Matt's mom, Kathy, that first made the connection for me with Jay's Sporting Goods. I've known Matt since he was a kid. I mean, a little tiny kid. He needed 2 fingers to pull the trigger on a BB gun. That's how small he was. Now he's their marketing director. We're going to talk about what's going on at Jay's these days, about the Michigan buck poll that Jay's is involved in, and also the Wednesday night live to kick off their deer camp as well. Then Brent Pike of the Michigan Wildlife Council, their whole goal is to promote and preserve and protect hunting and fishing here in Michigan. So I'm behind those guys 100%. We'll see what's up there. In our second hour, Rich Grazan of Killer Food Plots talking about their lineup of sensitive attractants for the rut, but also a product they have. Now, it may be a little bit late to use it for this year, but something to keep in mind. With the big EHD outbreak we had, EHD is caused by midges, little midge flies. If you treat your ponds or the water on your property or a swamp or whatever with this product, it can prevent that from happening. So we'll talk about that for sure. Russ Clark of Seahawk Charters down in St. Joe talks about the fishing, how it's been with the water levels so low. Can you still get fish? And then Sergeant Mike Mashar answers this week's Ask Avery question. And in hour number 3, one of the best extreme long-range shooters in the world, his name is Paul Phillips. Always look forward to my conversations with Paulie, as I call him. And then, of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. So we got a lot coming up on this week's show. I'm so glad that you were with us. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine Radio. There's also a podcast version of. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's MikeAveryOutdoors.com. On that website, you can get to all my different social media outlets. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I want to hear from you. Send your pictures. I want to see them. Send them to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. We will take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. When we come back, Matt Poet of Jay's Sporting Goods. Jay's Sporting Goods, the original advertising partner for me and everything I've done over the years. Doug is still fishing, then going down to Huron, Ohio. Greg, bald eagle nest somewhere. Oh, those are so cool. Son is the culprit about rotting your strap. Cover it with a black garbage bag. Excellent. Appreciate that, Bill. All right, my friends, have a great day. I'll be back here tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Hope you can join me then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. And all you guys down there in Ohio, good luck to you. Say hi to Bill Piles.